Digital assets are essentially assets that can be accessed or held online. But there are many types: online banking, cryptocurrency, payment gateways like PayPal, blogs, ebooks, social media like Facebook, like Instagram. The list is endless and it's all around us. Do they all disappear? This is a real issue for your fiduciaries unless you have done some estate planning. What do I mean by fiduciaries? These are people who manage your estate in the event of mental incapacity or death. And these are people like executors, administrators, attorneys, trustees, or court-appointed deputies. They act in a position of trust, and that's why they're called fiduciaries. The first issue is that your fiduciary might not even know what digital assets you own. If you have managed to keep your gambling habit quiet and under control, how would your fiduciary know that you have an online betting account with £5,000 in it? That's the first issue, identifying your assets. Then when they have identified your assets, how will they access them? How will they know the passwords to the assets? If you haven't let them know, then they won't have access. This is a real problem. And even if they can access them, what rights do they actually own in the assets? Do you just have a license to use the digital asset, or do you actually have any rights in the asset? Many people don't realize that all they have is a license to use certain digital assets. A lot of people spend hundreds, possibly even thousands of pounds adding music to their iTunes account. But is it actually an asset that you own? Well, it turns out you don't actually own the music in your iTunes account. You're only licensing it. That's why Bruce Willis got mad many years ago and wanted to sue Apple, because he wanted to pass his own iTunes account on to his children, but he found he couldn't. The license agreement says that you can't pass your iTunes account on to your children. So just be aware that it doesn't belong to you. Many of you will remember the Charlie Bit My Finger YouTube video, which reportedly earns around $100,000 a year. It has a value. It's important for your executors to be aware of that, as it could be capable of being passed on to the next generation, in this case Charlie and his brother, the stars of the show. Your email account could also be worth a lot. It could hold evidence of a very valuable contract that would go unproven without the email. If you have a YouTube Instagram account with 5 million followers, you probably have a lot of intellectual property tied up on your site. The reason you have all those followers is that you've been sharing lots of valuable information that belongs to you, and that information will be lost if your YouTube account should close. Another issue of concern is the sites that shut down after a period of time of not being used, or if periodic payments stop. Loans.com went for $3 million and Funds.com went for $10 million a few years ago. But if you don't pay your domain renewal fee, you lose it. If you lose your mental capacity and your attorney is unaware and doesn't keep up the payments, you could easily lose an asset that's worth a great deal. There is no generalized principle. Each site makes its own rules. But just remember that everything depends on the service agreement you have with that provider. Apple will delete everything once they're notified, and they will only allow access to your executor if they get a court order. You only have a license to listen, and your license terminates on death. That means that if you want to pass your collection on, you need to create accounts on different devices, and you can pass those devices on to your loved ones. But you must make sure that they have the password and that they also keep up the payments, because if you don't pay, you lose it. They won't provide the password or account control to your executors, but they will give them emails on a disk. If you notify them, they will just look to terminate the account. In Japan, there's something called a Yahoo ending, and I hope they will extend it to the rest of the world. They will deactivate an account after death and offer to delete content and also subscriptions linked to the account. They will also send an email which the person would have prepared in advance to up to 200 addresses and open a memorial bulletin board where people can leave online messages. There is a periodic payment for this, so if you don't keep up the payments, then the Yahoo ending may not actually be available when the end comes. Facebook will allow the account to be memorialized, and most people don't know this, but you can actually appoint a legacy contact in advance. That person won't be able to log into your account, but they can add content, for example, to notify friends and family. A lot of us keep digital information in a cloud space somewhere. For those running businesses, a lot of this information is crucial to your business, and it will devastate the business if it were to be lost. iCloud will terminate your account and delete all content. Be warned. PayPal will close the account on the presentation of a death certificate or grant of probate, and they will allow your executors to access the outstanding funds in the account. Keep a digital asset log. Create one where you can leave details of your digital assets for your fiduciaries. Prepare written instructions for your fiduciaries to show what you want if you die or lose mental capacity. For instance, do you want your digital footprint to be deleted, or do you want it to be memorialized instead? Do try and read the terms and conditions of key accounts, especially major accounts that can be monetized, like PayPal or cryptocurrency. Finally, when making your will, draft an appropriate clause to give your digital assets away to specific people who you want to inherit them. In addition, consider appointing a specific person that you think particularly suited to the task of managing your digital assets. It should be someone you trust with all the information that will come to light. My final word is just be aware of the issues surrounding digital assets, and be sure to discuss them when working on your estate planning with your professional advisors.
Subscribe now for more family wealth talk.